welcome to day 9 of my detox challenge. And this week we are focusing on releasing and just letting go of any of that old crap that we no longer need in our bodies and in our lives. So today we're going to be focusing a little bit on the hip area, which is an area again that we hold a lot of unnecessary tension. And actually as females, in yoga terms, we tend to hold a lot of baggage down here. So releasing on lots of different levels. So what I want you to do first of all is just take a moment to really arrive right here, right now. You can begin to either settle your gaze to the floor in front of you or close your eyes. And then just notice how your body feels here. And if you're craving any particular movement, then feel free to take that movement. So you might want to half circle the head. You might want to roll the shoulders out, whatever your body's telling you it needs to do. And then from there, begin to slow that movement down and come to a place of stillness. As you relax the skin and the muscles on the face, let any expression just drop away from your face. Let the tongue soften. Open the mouth a little bit so the jaw can be soft. And as you sit here, see if you can feel the ears floating directly over your shoulders. The navel lined up to the center of the chest, center of the throat, and the tip of your nose. Take a couple of deep breaths here. As you inhale, lengthen the spine and fill up with your breath. On your exhalation, keep that extension, but let out a sound or a sigh. Deep breath in. Exhale, let go. Good, bow your head to your heart. Begin to flutter your eyes, gently open. And then slowly raise your head. Great. Okay, so I'm going to have you come on your hands and knees. So for this practice, you probably want to sit up on something. So I've got a couple of blankets here that I sat up on. And I've got an extra one. So they could be blankets, they could be towels, whatever you have. Just make sure that you're really comfortable for this, so you don't want to be in any discomfort. So I'm going to put this underneath my knees. So I want you to have your knees underneath your hips and your hands pretty much underneath your shoulders. I'm going to find a gentle tuck of the tailbone as I lift the front of the pelvis and the belly in and up. And then we're just going to start to articulate around the hip joints. So I'm going to draw the one knee into my chest, out to the side, up to the ceiling, and then back to my chest. So out to the side, up to the ceiling, all the way back and round. And then I'm going to start to smooth that out. So it's big circles, and the rest of your body does not need to be locked into place, but you can just kind of move how you need to move to really feel like you're getting a full articulation of the hip joint. And then in a moment you can change direction when you're ready. Sweeping the knee back, up and around. Good, and that can be really slow or a little bit faster, just depending on how it feels for you. Okay, last time. Bring the knee down and just gently rock the hips side to side. Great, okay, we'll take that to the other side. So drawing the opposite knee in, out to the side, up to the ceiling. Another time quite slowly. And then smoothing that out. Good, let the upper body move as it wants to. You can bend the elbows and see if that works for you. And all the while, really nice deep breaths. Good, change direction. Last couple. Beautiful. Lay your knee down. While we're here, we'll just do a few cat-cows. So we're going to offer the heart forwards, draw the shoulders back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and just very gently let the back arch. Good, bend your elbows, inhale. On your exhalation, press the floor away from you, suck the navel to the spine, and then round through the upper back, chin to chest. Take a couple of breaths here, taking those breaths right into the back of the heart. Good. And then inhale, let everything soften, soften the elbows, offer the heart forward, squeeze the shoulders and the shoulder blades back. Good, bend your elbows, inhale as you exhale, press the floor away from you, round through the upper back. And back to a neutral spine, and release. Great. So I'm going to have this blanket on hand in case I need it. And I'm just going to sit up on these two blankets. So you could have a couple of blankets, a couple of towels, just to be a few inches away from the floor. And I'll slightly turn this way. Good. Okay, so we're going to come first of all into a pose called double right angle pose. So you're going to bring one leg out in front of you. And so for this, we're not going to go for a definite side to begin with, but generally in a more yin-based practice, you would start with your more flexible side, your more comfortable side, just so that your body kind of adapts more easily on your more comfortable side, and then by the time you get to your other side, you're already kind of in the zone. So I'm going to have my right leg out in front. If it's your left leg, you can have your left leg. So initially you want this front leg to be at a kind of right angle, so the knee. And then the back leg, so I'm taking the back leg behind, is also going to be a little bit of a right angle. So that's where everybody begins. And then you'll see how that feels, because we're going to come forwards. And so if this feels like a lot in your front hip, you can slide the foot in towards you. And if your hips are really open, then you can slide the foot away from you. And the back leg, I just want this to be comfortable. So if it's not comfortable on that back foot, again, you can pop a little blanket or a towel underneath the foot so it's really comfortable. So there's nothing there that's going to distract you. And then I want you to press into your fingertips and just snuggle back a little bit onto your blanket. And then we're slowly going to come forwards. So I want you to try to keep the sit bones down in contact with what you're sat on. And then just slowly begin to come forwards and come to a place where you start to feel something. And then here we're just going to take a few deep breaths. And actually we're going to take the breaths down, the same as we were doing last week, into the belly and into the bowl of the pelvis. And on your exhalation, squeeze the breath in and up from the root and see if you can get a little bit more length through the spine. One more breath like that, all the way down to the belly, the pelvic diaphragm. And then exhale, squeezing in and up. And then you can begin to fold a little bit more. So some of you might stay right here. And that's totally cool, right? You want to just stay at your edge where you're definitely feeling something, and it can feel pretty intense, but it's not too much. It's not enough to send your central nervous system into crazy mode. Okay, but if you can, you might come down onto your forearms. You might fold your hands and rest your head on your hands. You might be able to rest your head on the floor and stretch your arms out. So again, here you could put a block, a stack of books, a blanket, a towel underneath your head. So just find somewhere that feels comfortable to you. Another quite nice option is to have your elbows on the floor and rest your head into your hands. That can feel quite nice. And I want you to take your time to really find your place here. Find something that feels comfortable. And if you're there and it feels really intense, you can simply walk over the same side as the leg that's out, walk in that direction to ease off that front hip. Or if you need to squeeze a little bit more juice out of the pose, if you're not really feeling anything, then you're going to come over to the other side. So play around for just a few breaths and then find somewhere that feels good for you in this moment. It may not always be here, but for today. And then we're just going to really settle into the pose for about a minute of quiet. And as you remain here, allow your inhalation to just pour in. Pause at the top of the inhale breath. And then as you exhale, set the intention to release. Another pause before a brand new breath. So finding the 4 phases of the breath with every breath that you take. And with every exhalation, letting go. Begin to raise the head, come up onto the hands and press the floor away from you as you come up. Good. From there, leave that bottom leg where it is, but slide the front foot in and then grab hold of the back ankle and step that foot around. So again, you want to be probably sat up on something. And then from here, we're going to start coming forwards as well. And some of you might feel it right here, and so maybe this is your place to stay, just resting down there. Most of you will be able to step the foot over. So the bottom leg, the bottom knee is like an upside down V shape, and you want to give yourself enough space so that both sit bones can be down. From here, if this still feels alright, you're going to stack one knee on top of the other. Right? It might be nice to actually put something underneath this foot here, or it might be nice to put a blanket between the legs. Right, so see how that feels for you. You don't ever want to feel this too much in your knees, so if you feel it in your knees and it's uncomfortable, you want to back off a little bit. And there's always an option to straighten out that bottom leg. Right? It's another great option. So see where you need to be for today and be happy to be there. And then we're going to press into the floor with the fingertips, get really long with the spine. Take a deep breath in. On your exhalation, just start to move forwards from your belly and your chest. So lean forwards, but not the shoulders. And then from there, take another little snuggle onto what you're sat on. Great. Alright, from there you can either stay right here if you're already feeling this and it's a lot of sensation for you, then here is a perfect place to stay. If you can go further, you're going to begin to bow down, just releasing the upper body over the legs, but I want you to pause again where you start to feel something. And now let's work with our breath. So as we inhale, breath all the way down to the pelvic diaphragm. Exhale, squeezing the pelvic muscles in and up, belly in and up, lengthen through the spine. Another breath like that. So this just helps us to really get the length and the energy through the spine, and then you can begin to just let gravity take you, slowly releasing into the pose. Feel free to keep your hands on the floor if you need the support, but if you can, you'll turn your palms to the ceiling. Here you can just let your head rest on your top knee. You can make fists with your hands and rest your head down. You can bring a block or something, or a stack of books to put your head on. Whatever you feel comfortable with. So with these poses you really have to take your time to find your place sometimes. And then just be aware that if you're doing this quite early in the morning, the body is not going to be very open. And so it doesn't matter how far you're going, right? Whether you feel a bit stiff when you go in, it's just about the time that we take to remain there and breathe. So as we remain here for the next minute, focus on your breath and continue to let go. Turning the hands onto the floor, begin to walk your way back in slowly. Good. Use the strength of your arms to begin to unravel your legs. And then as you press the legs straighter, lean back on your hands and just start to move them a little bit. Good, and then maybe a little bit of a shake out. Good. Okay, bend your legs, have your feet wider than your hips and bring one hand on the top of both knees. So we're going to take the knees over to one side and lift up the other hip and then back to center. So just resting the hands down. This should feel like a really passive movement. Good, and back to center. Okay, we're going to go to the other side, so whichever leg you didn't have in front before. So mine was my left. Good, so start with these two right angles and then see how it feels. I'm going to pad that back foot a little bit because my foot feels a little bit cold on the floor there. Good, and then begin to come forwards and stop where you feel something. And now begin to work with your breath. So as you inhale down to the belly, warming and widening the pelvic diaphragm. Exhaling, squeezing in and up, lengthen. One more breath like that. As you exhale, find the energy through the spine and then continue on your journey to wherever you need to be right now. Remember that if this feels a lot on your front hip, you can slide that foot in. If you're not feeling anything, slide it out. And then when you come down, again there's an option to take it over in the direction of the front leg a little bit more to ease off that front hip, or move in the opposite direction to squeeze a little bit more juice out of it. When you're there, just begin to settle into your breath, completely relax the shoulders. And we'll remain here for one more minute. Okay, from there, raise your head. Press the floor away from you. Come up slowly. Slide your front foot in. Grab hold of your back ankle. Draw that foot around. And then it might not necessarily be the same on this side. But if you can, you're going to cross the foot over. Your bottom leg will be like an upside down V. Snuggle back into what you're sat on. And just see how that feels. So we're going to start to lean forward so you can kind of experiment how that feels there. And if you can, you'll stack one knee on top of the other. And you can take your time to kind of adjust as you need to. It might be nice to pad underneath this foot. It might be nice to put a blanket between the legs. Try to get yourself really comfortable. Remember, we don't want to feel this in our knees, so you can back off or you can straighten out that bottom leg. And when you feel okay, right, this might be where you need to be, so you'll just be here and breathe. And that's awesome. If you can go further, you're just going to begin to lean forwards with your belly, with your chest, and stop where you feel something. And where you feel something, pause and breathe. So let's take a couple of those pelvic diaphragm breaths, our Mula Bandha breaths, our root breaths, to get some length through the spine, and then you can continue. See how it feels every step of the way. There's no hurry to get to your final destination. It's all about your journey. So as you release, come to a place that is manageable, where your breath can be soft. Support yourself in any way you feel like you need to, and then come back to the breath. So a cool and smooth inhale breath, really filling up with your inhale. Pause. Exhale. Let the exhale breath sweep through you, brushing away anything you no longer need. And then another pause. And a brand new breath. And here we stay for another minute. Okay, turn the palms down to the floor. Press the floor away from you as you slowly come on up. And then with the strength of your arms, begin to unravel your legs. Oh, good. Lean back onto your hands. And just start to take a little bit of movement through the legs. You can kind of press into the heels there. And then give them a bit of a shake out. Good, we're going to do the same thing here. So hands onto your knees, feet wider than your hips. Take the knees over to one side and lift the opposite hip. Good, over to the other side. One more time to each side. Falling off my blankets there, doesn't matter. Good, and back to center. Beautiful. Last one here, leaning back on the hands. I want you to have your feet really relaxed, right? Like you're doing this with your hands. Really, really relax and just start to tap your feet onto the floor. So So they sound like they're slapping the floor. Good, and get a little bit faster. A little bit faster still. Good, slowing it down. Good, great for getting the energy back, flowing through the hips there. Okay, so we're almost done here, but we're going to do one final pose, a Baddha Konasana pose. Really nice, really beneficial pose. So I'm going to put one blanket underneath my head just for comfort, and then I'm going to take my other two blankets and I'm going to roll them. Right, so you could do the same with towels or blankets, or you could have blocks. Okay, and you want them to pretty much be the same width here. And you're going to place one either side of your mat. So I'm going to place the soles of my feet together. Okay, as I turn here. So the soles of my feet together. And I'm just going to have the feet a little distance away from me. So not right up here. So we want to be a little bit more open and create a little bit more space here. So have them about a foot away from you there. And then I'm going to take these blanket rolls and I'm just going to press them underneath my legs. So you want them to support your lower leg and upper leg. And you can adjust those in a moment, but get them really snug underneath there. Then bring your hands behind you, lift your hips and tuck your tailbone as you lift the front of the pelvis up. Good, and then start to come back onto your elbows. You might want to do that one more time. And then all the way down to the floor. So you want this blanket just to be resting underneath the back of the head. So make yourself comfortable there. Wriggle around a little bit. And then just see how this feels in the groin, in the pelvis and the hips. And it might be that you need to hug these blankets in a little bit more. Or it might be that you feel open enough to take them out closer to the knees. So you want to find somewhere in there that feels really good for you, that allows you the full extent of your opening, but not too much, not to create any stress or tension, especially in the groin area there. And then from there, we're just going to rest our hands down onto our belly. Great. And then close your eyes. You might want to take a little look and see that your nose is aligned to the center of your chest as you rest your head down. Feel the feet just gently touching together. They don't need to press. And feel over your next few breaths how you can just completely surrender the back body into the floor and the weight of the legs down into whatever is supporting them. Soften your jaw, relax your tongue, and from behind closed eyes, cast your gaze down behind the cheekbones and down into your body, into your belly. Keeping the breath really soft. So no real effort involved. Begin to guide the breath underneath your hands. Can you feel your inhale breath gently expand into your belly? And release as you breathe out. Try to do this just with your intention. So no big muscular effort to move the breath where you want it to be. Just a gentle encouragement. After your next exhalation, you're going to begin to slide your hands up and find the very bottom of your rib cage, and just rest your hands on the bottom of your rib cage. You might need to take your elbows wider. And the same thing here, without too much effort, without any force. See if you can begin to invite the breath to move underneath your hands, underneath the rib cage. Still look for the pauses between each breath. After your next exhalation, slide your hands up right to the top of your chest, just underneath the collarbones, and see if you can find somewhere there to just rest your hands. And then same thing, without any force, begin to invite the breath right up to the top of the chest, flowing behind the hands. It doesn't matter if you're not feeling it completely, but just keep guiding the breath. And keep the breath really passive. After your next exhalation, just draw your hands out to the side, palms to the ceiling. We're going to stay here for 1 more minute. From here, begin to just flutter your eyes open and then squeeze the knees back together. So we're going to stretch the legs out into final relaxation, but it might be really nice just to angle these blankets in so they're pointing like a V down to the bottom of my mat, and then I'm just going to rest my legs down there, and you can adjust them to wherever it feels good. Have your legs quite wide, so this will bring a lot of space to the front of the pelvis. And then you'll stretch your arms out. Take any adjustments you need to get really comfortable. And then just completely surrender the weight of the body into the floor. And for the next minute or so, with every exhalation, surrender and let go. From here, begin to move into the body just a little bit. Wriggle the fingers, wriggle the toes. Begin to deepen your breathing. Take a couple of deep breaths, letting out a sigh. And then begin to wiggle the tips of your fingers, the tips of your toes. Move around a little bit. Stretch into your fingers, stretch into your toes. And then begin to bend your legs and gather your knees into your chest. We're going to hug them in here and then separate them wide with the big toes quite close. And then begin to circle. So try to keep your eyes closed here, because it doesn't matter where your body is in space. It just matters about how it feels. So see if you can really get a nice massage along the lower back, the SI joints, the tops of the glutes even there, rolling maybe one hip to the other. Good. And then when you're done with that, and that feels good, you're going to roll over to one side and press the floor away from you as you come up. Let your head hang really heavy. And then come into any comfortable seated position. Draw your palms together at your heart. Take a deep breath in. On your exhalation, bow your head to your heart, surrendering mind to heart. Namaste.